a fifth lemon slicer that Joseph used to survive and thrive the lemons of life. There's L for love, E for express it, M for meaning, O for offer forgiveness, and now we arrive at N, which stands for no griping. In other words, be thankful. Joseph sure had a lot of things that he could have griped about. He could have been angry and bitter the way his brothers sold him into slavery for no good reason. But he didn't. And then for years he served in Potiphar's house better than any other servant until Potiphar's wife told this far-fetched lie about him and the master threw Joseph into prison. But Joseph doesn't gripe and complain about being falsely accused. He just got to work helping the prison guards. And you can imagine life in prison left a lot to gripe about. But Joseph didn't complain at all. Now, how do we know that Joseph really didn't gripe? Possibly you're thinking, well, maybe Joseph did gripe, but the Bible just didn't record it. Well, some things are difficult to prove that did not happen. But in this case, it's not that hard. Why? Well, for one thing, a person who gripes and complains a lot is miserable to be around. But being miserable around doesn't describe Joseph at all. His father loved being with Joseph. And so did his master Potiphar, who loved having Joseph around enough that he put him in charge of his whole household. And even in prison, the guards were happy to have Joseph around and showed him favor. So Joseph doesn't sound like the kind of person who looked at life through a negative lens, even though he did have a lot he could have griped and complained about. Furthermore, the name Joseph gave his second son can tell us whether Joseph had a negative outlook and attitude about life. In the last chapter, we learned that Joseph named his first son Manasseh, or forget. Well, his second son was named Ephraim, which in Hebrew means twice fruitful, because he said, God made me fruitful in the land of my suffering. Now, does that sound like something a griper would say? No way. Crediting God with all the blessings in his life is being thankful. And being thankful is not what a griper feels. Gripers are always down. They have this negative outlook. They're self-centered. They only care about their own situation. And that certainly does not describe Joseph. He noticed that the butler and baker were sad, and he asked if he could help them. No, not a griper's mindset. Gripers always think that they deserve better. They complain because they didn't get enough credit, or they didn't get enough compliments for the things that they've done. But Joseph, on the other hand, was quick to tell others that God, not him, deserved the credit for the right interpretation of the dreams. And would a griper who had lived through all the lemons of life that Joseph had name his second son Ephraim, meaning twice fruitful? No way. A griper in Joseph's position would have named his son something like, well, it's about time, or finally. And lastly, would the king have given Joseph the Egyptian name of Zephath-Paneah, meaning God speaks and lives, if he had a negative outlook and was always griping? Unlikely. Joseph was not a griper. He was full of thankfulness, and that thankfulness would sustain him even through the hardest times of life. It helped him stay positive and looking up through the dark times, and it will do the same for us today. So, here are the two words that come from Joseph's example to conclude this chapter, don't gripe.